What is up, Internet? This is JD coming at you with this will be, and it's not really a secret, so, it's not a secret that this is my opinion. My opinion is that I don't like LeBron James. It's not that I don't like him. There's reasons why I'm not a fan of him. Let me rephrase that. I don't hate the guy, okay? He's obviously, we'll get this out of the way, he's a good role model, he's a good person. He's not like he's like a thug or a jerk or whatever. To a degree, he's kind of arrogant, but who isn't when they're a billionaire or millionaire or whatever? But there's reasons why I don't like him specifically, okay? And I'm going to go through my 15 reasons as to why I don't like him. So without further ado, here we go. Reason number 15, he proclaimed himself to be the chosen one. Basically, he proclaimed himself to be like the greatest ever before he ever accomplished anything, okay? You should be calling yourself the GOAT until your career is over, okay? So that to me, I don't really like that. That's one of my personal pet peeves or whatever, so that's one reason why I don't like him. All right? Reason number 2 is he was proclaimed to be the greatest player ever before he ever set foot on a basketball court. When he was drafted, he was proclaimed as the greatest player ever. I mean, do you not have to play the games and such to be great, or can you just be proclaimed to be great? I mean, what is greatness if it's not based on what you've done? If not based on what you could do, okay? There's a lot of great players out there that could have been great if they would have not got injured or not got wrapped up with drugs or whatever case may be. It's what you've accomplished in your career being done, not all these things. And I know that these things are just people trying to hype it up, okay? But it still matters. It still matters because that's how he's perceived. And to be fair to him, it wouldn't be that big a deal, a lot of things he's done, if he wouldn't have proclaimed himself to be great and everyone else wouldn't have proclaimed him to be great. So now he has to live up to not just his standards of trying to be the best he can, to those standards as well. And I think that has had an effect on his career. Him personally, I think he has like the weight of the world on him, but still, it's something that is basically part of his fabric of who he is as a player. All right? Number 13, or last one's number 14, number 13, he walks a lot. This is starting to get into his actual game, okay? So I'm going to go over a little bit of his game. Number 13 is he walks a lot, okay? If you watch Game 5 of the NBA Championship, LeBron James walks almost every time he has the ball. He walked on one specific play. His pick and roll, and he literally had his feet like this, and he shuffled it and then dribbled, okay? He took an extra step, passed the ball to the corner. Someone missed a three. He gets a rebound, and he literally does a little shift with his feet, doesn't dribble the ball, and then lays it in. Okay, he does this all the time. Okay, because the next one that I'm going to say ties into this, but he walks a lot and he gets away with a lot. I'll go ahead and just go to number 12 here, just in the same video. Number 12 is he has bad footwork. That results in him getting a lot of walks. Okay, he walks a lot. And he doesn't get called for. Now, here's the thing. He gets compared to two players a lot, Kobe and MJ. Kobe and MJ have some of the best and some of the greatest footwork ever, okay? They did not walk, right? They did not walk at all, all right? Olajuwon is my favorite center because he had the best footwork I have ever seen from an NBA player, okay? Tim Duncan was great because he's the big fundamental. He had very good fundamentals, had great footwork. LeBron James, later in his career, got better. I'm not going to take that away from him. It has gotten better than it was when he was younger, but he did not have good footwork when he was younger. Okay, so his footwork results in he walks a lot. Okay, and number 11 is he constantly is complaining about calls. He complains to the officials more than any player I have ever seen. Okay. Let's just put it this way: he's the biggest player, and he's one of the biggest players in the NBA. Okay, if he's 6'8" and he's like 280. Okay, there's either guys that are 7 foot and 280, or 280, or there's no one that are that height bigger than him. It has more mass than he really does. Okay, there's not too many people that are bigger than LeBron James. So you constantly, you look like a crybaby anytime you go to the hoop and you don't get a call, you whine and cry. Okay. Now, this carries into my next 2 points. Number 11 point, like I said, was he complains to officials a lot. And he does it to the point where I'm not going to sit here and say Kobe Bryant was pretty blatant about it, but Michael Jordan wouldn't complain until the ball was dead. And then he would go up to the referees and bitch. Okay? LeBron James will literally miss a layup and sit here and put his hands in the air and whine, scream, and moan, and then they'll go on the other end and get a three or a layup or something. Like, it's detrimental to your team. It's detrimental to your play. Okay, he literally did this. Okay, in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, LeBron James jumps up in the air has a ball above his head. Everyone takes away the next pass, and his left foot lands, and he throws it, and they call an up and down. And he looked at the official like the official was the dumbest person in the world. Like, seriously, it's just take the call. Just like, yep, I did it. Okay, fine, my bad. Okay, but for some reason he can't do any wrong. And that's like, well, it's probably the arrogance that I said I don't like earlier. Okay, playing into that is number 10. Is he does a lot of. I don't like the fact that he does a lot of bully ball. And what I mean by that is, a lot of his success. And number 9 is a lot of his success early in his career was part of this. Okay, he does a lot of bully ball where he'll run people over, he'll push off a lot, and then he'll throw the ball to whom and get fouls. Early in his career, he would just run people over. People would, if we went back and watched it, and a real official watched every game, LeBron James would have the most charges in the history of the NBA by far. He literally just runs people over, okay, and just throws the ball at the hoop and gets free throws. A lot of his success early was that. Okay, a lot of his success. He didn't like juke. He didn't like get the guy off his feet and jump into him, get a little bit of a bump and then shoot it. No, he would just run the guy over and throw the ball at the hoop. Okay? And now he does this a lot of the times now. A lot of the times he'll push off with his forearm. He does it every time he dribbles now. And what happens is he gets it's kind of smart on his part. A lot of time he'll dribble. And if you don't watch games and look for these things, you're not going to look for it. That's why every LeBron James fan, I can't take any serious because they don't watch the games. They watch it. They just like, oh, let me see him dunk. Let me see him make a shot. Let me see him make a good pass. No, watch the entire game. Okay, when you watch football, you don't just watch the football. You watch everything. You watch the blocking. You watch the receivers. You watch the defense and how they move and how they blitz. You don't just watch football. The whole game of football is everything, and a ball is a part of it. Same with basketball. LeBron James' game has not just him shooting the ball or him dunking or him passing to somebody. A lot of his game is what he does in the process of doing that. Okay? For example, when he dribble penetrates, he'll push off with his arm, and then he'll bring the ball up, and then whenever he'll bring the ball up, and the defender's arm is down, so they're trying to come up, and they hit his arm. And that's an offensive foul, because first off, you pushed off. Second, you can't impede the defender's ability to raise his hands like that. But, people don't know basketball, so they don't know what they're talking about. But that's number 9, why I don't like the fact that a lot of his stuff early in his career success spawned from the fact that he constantly would just run over people and throw the ball at the hoop. Okay? If he had like a mid-range game, he like take a big step and he'd jump and pull up over somebody and shoot it, like Kobe or like Michael they never did that. Michael Jordan and LeBron never did those things, or MJ never did those things. Their game was flawless when it comes to like mid-range game. And they would still go in and dunk, but didn't have to run someone over and push them out of the way and then dunk on them. Okay? So, and I'll go on to the next one. Number 8 is he rests a lot. He has never played a complete 82-game season. Never. Okay, so this year, whenever people are like, oh, he's getting old, he's got mileage on. So what was his excuse the first 10 years in his career when he couldn't play an entire season? Okay? LeBron James is putting the league in a bad spot, and here's why he's putting the league in a bad spot. Three main reasons. One reason is because he's resting. Okay, he is the best player in the world, so therefore he sets the precedent. Okay, for what is allowed from everyone in the league. Okay, he sets the precedent, and what I mean by that is he rests. So there are tons of players in the league who are getting their money, getting paid to play 82 games, who are going to be like, you know what, LeBron James doesn't have to play 82 games, why should I? So they're going to start resting. And the reason why players in the salary cap took a $20 million jump last year is because players before now played every game. They played. They showed up. They put a performance on. Whatever. It's entertainment. People pay to be entertained. People pay to watch the best player in the world, best players in the world play basketball. Okay? And they got a huge TV contract because those who didn't show up to pay watched it on TV, so therefore the ratings are high. You're going to have an adverse effect when LeBron James leaves this game of basketball, which is people are going to stop watching because they're like, well, they're not going to play their starters. Why should I watch a bunch of bench players play each other? Okay, and that's the second reason. He's going to cost the NBA a lot of money. because he's setting a precedent that a lot of other players are going to follow. Along with that precedent, okay, is they may cut back games, which is going to cut down revenue, which is going to make it harder to go to games because it's going to cost more for tickets. Okay, it's an adverse effect that LeBron James is going to have. That's mainly the part of it. I'm going to throw one more thing in there. I said it was three things. One thing was the resting, and the adverse effect of that is he's going to actually lose revenue for the NBA because of ticket sales. And the third thing is he set the precedent for super teams. You can say for players building super teams, okay? You can say what you want. Other teams have like gone out and traded players to get good players, okay? Lakers did it. The Celtics did it. But LeBron James went out and talked to his buddies and built a super team, okay? To make it so it's not even fair. It's not fair. It's the fact that LeBron James' teams are just never as good as they should be because I think he has an adverse effect on that, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But he lost to the finals to a one All-Star team in the Dallas Mavericks. He lost to the finals again to I think it was one or two All-Star team in the Spurs. Okay, he lost to the Golden State Warriors, and they only had two superstars. Okay, two All-Stars. They had Klay Thompson, and they had Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Okay, so and he had I know he didn't have the other two, but there wasn't like an unbalance there. Okay. He is setting the precedent that that's the only way you can win in this league is super teams. Okay? And I'll go on to number 7 here in a second. Number 7. Much of his success spawns from the fact he played in the weakest Eastern Conference. Now, a lot of people miss this and they think it's just, oh, he can't help who he plays. Well, you can, first off, because you want to leave your team in Cleveland and go to play in Miami. You could have left your team and gone to the Western Conference. So that's the first thing. Second, you play in the Eastern Conference. The fact that you have only faced, you've only beaten, I think it's 6 50-win teams in the playoffs. You've played more years than Michael Jordan, okay, and you've beaten way less than Michael Jordan ever. Michael Jordan beat 20 50-win teams. LeBron James has only beaten 6 50-win teams in the playoffs. Okay, so that definitely has an impact. So here's a good way to gauge this. Let's say LeBron James' Cleveland Cavaliers were in the Western Conference, or any team he ever played for was in the West. How many times has LeBron James lost in the finals? That means that there's 5 times if he was in the Western Conference, he would not have gotten to the finals. Okay, so that's how you can gauge whether he was really good or not, or whether he would have gotten there. And the fact that the NBA, and I'm really going to go on this for 2 seconds, the NBA needs to change their playoff scale, or the way it's done. It needs to be top 16 players, not top 8 in each conference. Okay. Reason why that is, and I think it will actually fix this resting problem they're having, because if you do the top 16 teams, well, the way the teams are ranked, LeBron James would have faced the Washington Wizards first round. They need to face the Golden State Warriors second round. So you're not really getting the championship that has the 2 best teams. You're getting a championship with the best from each conference, and that's not exactly the way I think it should be done anymore. The way they originally did it was for money purposes, parity purposes, things like that. You no longer need those purposes. And LeBron James probably wouldn't have sat so many games if he'd have known first round. Let's see, if I get to the 2nd seed and have the second record behind the Golden State Warriors, I can end up facing some bad teams. But if I don't, and I drop myself down to the number 8 seed, if I drop myself down to the 8 or 9 seed, I'm going to end up playing the Washington Wizards first round. I don't want that, because then I won't get my sweeping record in the first round will be tainted. So I'm not going to get a sweep here. I don't doubt that he would win. Don't get me wrong. Actually, this year probably could have won, and here's why. Pacers were not very good. They didn't have enough firepower to beat them, and they actually took them to a couple games really close. The Washington Wizards were on a roll going into the playoffs. And the fact that the way the Cavaliers played defense, they really could have given them a run for their money. Okay, not saying they would have, but it could have taken them 6 or 7 games. The Washington Wizards were built to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, just that's a quick tangent. I'm going to bring it back now. But he has been a product of a very weak Eastern Conference. He has always played with at least 2 All-Stars. Now, I know I was going to say, like, when did he play with more than 2 All-Stars? He has All-Star caliber players on his team. Okay? Don't be dumb. We all know Ray Allen, when he played there, was All-Star caliber. Mike Miller was All-Star caliber. Okay? LeBron James has always had top 5 first-round picks always playing with him. When he was in Miami, Fact is, last year there he had 7 top 6 picks. Him, Wade, Bosch, Beasley, Greg Oden, Ray Allen. Okay, 7. Oh, Battier. He had Battier as well. Okay, so he's always had top 7 picks. Okay, right now you can look at him right now. Darren Williams was the top 10 pick. He was number 1. Kyrie Irving was number 1. Kevin Love was I think it was a top 10 pick. I don't think it was top 5. He might not have been top 5. I mean, I can look that up, obviously, but so there's 5. Tristan Thompson was, I think, number 7. So he's always had top-ranked players on his team. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to bounce to the next topic. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, we are at number 6. To win the East and to get to the finals, he's always needed number 6. Okay, I already talked about that. But he's always had at least 2 superstars with him. And the thing is, a lot of times he's actually lost to teams that don't have superstars. The Mavericks only had 1 superstar when they spanked him. Okay, they spanked him bad. Okay, I'm pretty confident the Spurs only had 1 All-Star that year. I mean, they were a good team. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking that away, but to complete the narrative here, it's only had 1 All-Star, and that was Kawhi Leonard. I don't think anyone else on that team was an All-Star. They didn't have Aldridge yet. Tim Duncan, I don't think was an All-Star that year. Maybe Tony Parker, but overall the team was just a good team, and they had 1 All-Star in Kawhi Leonard. Okay, I'll just go and go on number 5. Number 5, outside forces are more responsible for his career than he is. I don't want to say that as an overall thing. It's about 60-40, 60% his fault, 40% outside forces. And what I mean by that is, when he won his first title, and I'm not making excuses. The Thunder weren't just ready to play in the finals. But if you do watch the game, there was a lot of bad calls. Okay, and there's a documentary about it, for God's sakes. There was a lot of bad calls. You can watch the game, and if you're going to sit there and say that they weren't bad calls, then you don't know basketball. Sorry. But he still won. He won. He showed up and played. It might not have even been close, but the fact that Kevin Durant can't play can only play 5 minutes in the first half of 4 of the games because he's in foul trouble, I think that it's kind of having an adverse effect on the ability of that team to be effective. Okay, so the officiating was bad. This year's officiating was really bad. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into it because the Golden State Warriors were just so good they overcame it. But the officiating this year was so bad they were just trying to give LeBron a game. Now, the game that LeBron won, they did shoot extremely well, but you got to factor that in. They shot that well, and they won by 19. And the fact that they shot 20 free throws in the first quarter, you had some guys in foul trouble. Klay Thompson foul trouble. Kevin Durant was. You had guys that did not get going in that game. Okay, so that's going to have an effect, especially when you can't get in rhythm to contend in the game. That could have been a 140 to 145 game or something like that if the referees wouldn't have interfered. In Game 3, everyone agreed that. Even the analysts on ESPN were saying the referees were horrible. Okay, so it's not just me being a sour about LeBron James getting some calls. Okay, outside forces last year, Draymond Green got suspended. Okay, the NBA suspended Draymond Green to give LeBron James a fighting chance. In that same game, Andrew Bogut and Andre Iguodala got injured. Andrew Bogut got out for the series, and Andre Iguodala hurt his back pretty bad. He had spasms. He said it hurt him to bend over and get in the defensive stance. Okay, that matters. And the fact that on the last play of the game when he got blocked, he couldn't go up and dunk it. He didn't have the lift because of his back hurting. Okay, Ray Allen hit a step back 3 to save his career because he'd have been 3-1. Okay, 3-1 in that game or in his finals appearances if Ray Allen doesn't hit that 3. The Spurs had him on the ropes, had him done, had him dead to rights. Okay, so there's a lot of outside forces that have had a huge impact on his career. Not so much with Michael Jordan and LeBron and Kobe Bryant. I mean, he does step up and play when he has to. When he gets to those moments, like Game 7s, he does step up and play. I'm not taking that away from him. But there was a lot of things that happened to lead up to those moments. Okay? In the Mavericks series, he stepped up. He made it so that his team could get to the finals. Or could win games 2, 3, and 4 because he played well. The officiating helped, but he still played well. Okay, not taking that away from him. Game 6 and Game 7, Ray Allen hits that 3. They go to overtime. They win. In Game 7 against the Spurs, he stepped up and played very well. Okay, against Golden State, he played well in games 5, 6, and 7. Okay, not taking that away from him, but there's things that happened that gave him those opportunities to do that. Okay, so I'm not taking those away from him, but there are things that had an adverse effect that put him in those situations to do that. So I'm going to go on to the next one. Last one was number 5. Number 4, he left Cleveland. Okay, and he conspired on a contract to leave Cleveland. This is one that a lot of people keep missing when it comes to LeBron James. They just ignore this. Okay, they ignore that. They think what Kevin Durant did is so bad, and what LeBron James did was nowhere near as bad. Okay, I'm going to go and explain Kevin Durant's situation. Kevin Durant became a free agent. Okay, it was a perfect storm. It wouldn't have been done ever. It's never going to be done ever again, anything like this. Okay, Kevin Durant became a free agent. He didn't opt out of his contract. Didn't do anything. He became a free agent because his contract expired. Okay. He surveyed the landscape and he took the best available option to him. It wasn't like he didn't opt out of his contract and go join the team and there wasn't like other options and there was better options elsewhere. Okay, everyone's like he went to the team that beat him. So what? So what? He went to the team that had the best option for him to win, best chance for him to win, and it happened to be on the year where the salary cap jumped up $20 million, so they could afford him. If it had happened any other year, they wouldn't have been able to afford Kevin Durant. Okay, they wouldn't. There's no way they would have been able to afford Kevin Durant. Okay, and you could say what you want, even if they didn't have Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant's a great player. Who's to say that they wouldn't have got another superstar and still been able to be a very effective player? I understand Kevin Durant is like the second best player in the world, but who's to say they wouldn't have gotten other pieces? Their system was so good. I mean, they were spanking the Cleveland Cavaliers without him. Okay? And don't keep this in mind as well, and a lot of people still miss this. They say, oh, you're adding Kevin Durant to a 7-3-9 team. No, you're adding Kevin Durant to a 7-3-9 team that had to lose 5 players to get him. Okay, you lost 2 starters, Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut was top 5 in rim protection last year, like top 5 in the league in blocks. Okay, Harrison Barnes, who he didn't show up in the finals very well, but he was very good throughout the course of the year. He's a good defender. He's a good offensive player. He hits shots. He's very athletic. So there's 2 key parts they had to get rid of just to bring him in as a starter, and then they had to go get Zaza Pachulia to play center for them. Okay, they also had to give up Brandon Rush and Yonder Barbosa and Maurice Spates. Okay, now you can say what you want about those 3 players. Those 3 players played within that system, and they were very good within that system. Okay, so you can say that they weren't that great; they were just subs. And Festus Ezeli too was in there, but he didn't. He played well throughout the course of the season. He didn't do good in the finals. Okay, but they had to sacrifice 6 players to get him. Okay, 6 players, 6 legit players that had legit lots of minutes. Okay, and they replaced all those with him, Zaza Pachulia, and JaVale McGee. Okay, it's a system thing. I have a feeling that JaVale McGee, if he goes anywhere else, I think he can actually get a decent contract. But he actually had a good year. Zaza Pachulia is now a champion. He had a good year. Although he almost cost him in the finals, he had a pretty good season. Okay, and he'll get a contract this year. Okay, so they had to sacrifice a lot to get him. Now here's what LeBron James did. LeBron James, first off, you claim yourself the greatest player ever. You don't run to someone else to win. People come to you to win. Okay, that's the first thing. Now that's what people are also missing here is Kevin Durant is not compared to the great. He's not the chosen one. He's not compared to the greatest player ever. Michael Jordan is, or I'm sorry, LeBron James is being compared to the greatest player ever. Kevin Durant's not. So it's a different precedent and a different mindset whenever it comes to comparing one to the other. Okay, the greatest player ever, supposedly, had to run to Miami and play with another champion to learn how to be a champion, to learn how to win. And he had to join up with 2 other All-Stars to do it. Okay? You're the greatest player ever, and you should be drawing people to you. Okay? You should be drawing people to you. Michael Jordan never went out and asked for anyone. Now, Kobe Bryant did, but he didn't go out to free agency and say, hey, come take a pay cut. All you guys that are great, come. No, he got guys that he knew were decent and would help him win a championship. I'll win it for him. Okay? Example, he went out and he would say, Ron Artest, come play with us. You're a good defender. I know we've had our scraps, but I know you can play defense. Come play with me. Rajah Bell, he even reached out to Rajah Bell and I tried to get him to play. Okay, so there's a lot of things he's done, LeBron James has done in this situation that I think is bad on his part. Now, LeBron James, and this is something that people keep missing, and this is actually public knowledge. He admitted to this. Stephen A. Smith reported this. During 2008, LeBron James played on the Olympic team. He played on the Olympic team with Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, Melo, and Bosh. Okay, so all 5 of them. And they had talked and discussed leaving their teams and teaming up and playing together. They wanted to do that. Okay? They did this while they were under contract. Okay? They were getting paid millions of dollars to play for their respective teams they were on. They conspired under contract to leave their teams and join up and play. Now, Wade never left, but he still they didn't agree to all go to Miami right away. They conspired to still join up. Okay? But in the case of him and Bosh, they left their team to go join up. And they conspired to do this under contract. And that was 2 years before he left. Okay? 2008. So then that compromised the integrity of the game. And what I mean by that is, LeBron James went back-to-back 60-win seasons. Okay? And in the second 60-win season, he's playing Boston. Boston's a 4 seed. They're the 1 seed. They're playing them in the semis. Eastern Conference semis. And LeBron James looked like he didn't care. He wasn't trying. Yada, yada, yada. He wasn't even giving a damn. How do you know he hadn't already agreed that, I'm not playing here anymore? That compromises the game. And that's why, in my opinion, it's worse. I get why people don't like what Kevin Durant did, because they think it compromised integrity, or he looks like he's just chasing championships. Kevin Durant is the reason they won this year. He showed up in every single game. You can't accuse him of that. You can't accuse him of just riding the coattails of great players, of a good team. He was one of the reasons they were very successful this year. He was a good defender, good rebounder. He had one of his best years he ever had. Okay? And honestly, I don't blame Kevin Durant. I wouldn't want to play with Russell Westbrook either. I play church league with some guys, and there's guys on there, they will not throw you the ball. If you're wide open and they have 3 guys in their face, they are still going to shoot the ball come hell or high water. Okay? And Russell Westbrook, God love him because he plays hard, and I respect that. But he has one speed. Okay? And he does not play with rationale. And what I mean by that is he crosses half court as a point guard, and he decides, do I want to shoot, or should I give it to Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant is the most efficient perimeter scorer probably in NBA history when it comes to a 3 or 2. The most efficient when it comes to shooting and scoring. He's 6'11", and he usually averages over 50% from the field shooting and over 40 from 3. Russell Westbrook cross half court and decide that me being Russell Westbrook thinking, I shoot about 40% from the field. I think I should shoot more than the guy who's the most efficient player ever. That's not logical to me. I don't blame Kevin Durant for wanting to leave that. Okay, and for all we know, they've had conversations like, Russ, you need to stop doing this, man. Go on the offense through me. I'll hit you when you're open. And Russ just still doesn't, because he has one gear and he has tunnel vision, and he always thinks about himself. He's a very selfish player. And everyone's gonna be like, he had a lot of assists this year. Well, he didn't have a choice. He didn't have much of a choice this year. Okay, I wouldn't want to play with Russell Westbrook either. So, but that is why it's more harsh to me that he left Cleveland and then came back. Okay, he left Cleveland. You're LeBron James. You're supposed to be the GOAT. People come play with you. Talk them into playing with you when they're free agents. Okay, it's not Kevin Durant's fault that that the Golden State Warriors have built a great team. They have. They've built a great team. Only a handful of their players are top 5 players. Okay, there's like 2. Okay, they haven't drafted any top 5 players. They've only signed top 5 players. They played top 5. It was Kevin Durant, and Sean Livingston Sean Livingston 6. Kevin Durant was number two pick. Okay, no one else in that is top 5. Andre Iguodala was top 10 because he was number 9. Okay, so none of them are top 5 draft picks that they actually drafted, and a lot of their team they drafted. Even their McCall and Clark, a lot of those guys are draft picks. Okay, so the fact that they build a team and someone wants to come to it is not LeBron James' or Kevin Durant's fault. LeBron James hasn't had a team being built for him. Okay, he's taken the easy way, which is run and just play with free agents. Okay, on to the next one. Number 3 is I do not think LeBron James is a great leader. I don't think he's a good leader, but I don't think he's a great leader. Here's why. Something on my hat. One, the last point I just made. LeBron James has not been going. First off, if he's a great leader, people would come to him to play with him. Okay? People come to him to play with him. Okay? He wouldn't have to go run the Dwayne Wade to learn how to win a championship. People would come to him. Okay? And he would figure it out. Okay? A great leader This is the difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. LeBron James will just rebound every basketball if someone's not rebounding good on the team. Okay, Michael Jordan will do it for one game and he'll light your ass up in the locker room. I don't think LeBron James does that. I think he's too buddy with all of his teammates to that point where he can be like, you know what, I'll rebound this game, but I'm going to let your ass up at halftime, or I'm going to let your ass up in the first half. Tristan Thompson had one good playoff game this year, or one good finals game where he had like a lot of offensive rebounds. If he'd done that every game, how much more successful could they have been? Okay, I don't see that from LeBron, that he lights guys up for not being that. Michael Jordan would go at him in the middle of the game if he could, but he's got to focus on doing the job and winning the game first. Okay, and that's where I think he lacks a little bit in leadership. Also, he doesn't ask the coaches to put in a system that is universal. He has to put in a system that is strictly for him. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the systems LeBron James has been in is strictly like him pick and roll or him ISO, and then maybe he'll pass off the people, which is fine because he's been good at that. He's pretty good at that. But what happens when you take LeBron James off the court? A lot of his teams are strictly centered around his offense. And I think it's bad leadership to say, okay, put everything around me. I'm fine with that. No, you put something that's universal that multiple different pieces can be put in. The Golden State Warriors can literally take out Steph Curry, KD, and Draymond Green and run their offense through Klay Thompson. They can run their offense through McCall. They can run their offense through Iguodala. And a lot of different players are universal. Anyone can bring the ball up on that team. Anyone can bring the ball up on that team and start the offense. I think that's a better universal fit. And I don't think it's just coaching, okay? Because LeBron James has had good coaching. Eric Spoelstra was a good coach, okay? And Mike Brown has been a pretty good coach. I mean, he won undefeated in the playoffs this year. To be fair, he was coaching one of the best teams ever. So I'm not going to go give him all that credit. But I don't think he's had horrible coaching. I think it's always been a crutch for him whenever he hasn't succeeded, and that goes into my next point. I'm not getting into that yet. Just don't think he's as great a leader as people perceive him to be. If you were a great leader, people would run to play with you. People would run through a brick wall to play with you. Michael Jordan, as much as everyone can say that he had a chip on his shoulder and he was kind of an asshole, players would run through a wall. Steve Kerr, who was not a big player, would run through a wall for Michael Jordan. Okay? Michael Jordan, when he was put on the Olympics, guys ran through a wall for Michael Jordan. His contemporaries would do that. Okay? I don't get that feeling from LeBron James. I do not get that feeling from LeBron James. Okay? Good leader, not a great one. And for that reason alone. Okay? I think he can get his teammates to play better defense. I think he can get his teammates to have a better offense when he wasn't on the floor. I think he can inspire more guys to come play with him for the sake of playing with him, not for the sake of getting an easy title, for the potential of that. I think he took way too long in his career to get that out of people. All right? Number two is I think he gets a pass for a lot of his failures. I'll give a perfect example. He didn't make the playoffs the first 2 years of his career. He gets a pass for that. The team wasn't very good. Well, Michael Jordan's team wasn't very good. He got them in the playoffs as a 7 seed, and again, he got them in the playoffs after only playing 17 games, and ended up averaging over 60 or 40 some points in that series and 30 some the year before. Okay, so he got to the first round of the playoffs. Now everyone always says like, "Oh, he never got swept, and he never got beaten in the first round or whatever." So, who cares? By the time he started getting in the first round, he started actually having a pretty good team. But Michael Jordan still got in the first round as a rookie and sophomore. Okay, so he gets passes for his failures. He didn't get in the playoffs. Should be the greatest player ever. Should be able to get in the playoffs with anyone you put around him. Okay, I realized he was fresh out of high school, but that was his choice. So Michael Jordan's choice to run and play baseball gets held against him, but LeBron James' choices don't. Anyway, the first championship he ever won. Now this one I am hard pressed on. Okay, I do not give him a pass for losing to the Spurs. Okay, that's the case. If you're gonna get a pass for losing to someone, don't make it to the finals. Lose to the Pistons, put yourself in better position to end up getting a better draft pick. Okay, but it's stupid in that case. Okay, no one should win a championship unless they're guaranteed they're gonna win. That's dumb to get a pass for that. Okay, he beat the Pistons. Now I'm gonna give you a heads up. The Pistons, I'll give you some info here. Pistons were one of the best teams to ever win a title because they were very well dispersed as a group. Okay, and the same group that won the title played against LeBron, okay, in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think it was 2007 was the year, okay? same group of guys, okay? He beat them, okay? And then he got swept by the Spurs. Now, I would understand if you sit there and say, you know what, he should have at least won. If he won one, I give you that, okay? The team was so good, it was just overmatched. I get that. I think he should have won. He should have made it 6. I think he's good enough. He should have been, being the GOAT, one of the greatest ever, should have been able to make it 6 games, okay? But LeBron James didn't. He only won. He lost 4 straight. Okay, I think that's detrimental. You got swept. Allen Iverson, who's a miniature guard, and had nothing but decent defensive players around him, got 1 against LA. A much better team than a team that they actually, the Spurs actually beat. Got 1 against them. Okay, you should have been able to get 1, LeBron. And I hold that against him. I don't think he should have won. I do think he should have won if he's going to be the greatest ever. But in all fairness, he should have gotten 1 game. Maybe 2. But he got none. He gets a pass for that. He gets past the fact he had back-to-back 60-win teams. And no one holds that against him. And he didn't make the finals. In fact, one year he didn't even make the Eastern Conference Finals. That should have been a Kobe, LeBron James showdown in the finals. Back-to-back years. And it wasn't. Okay? So he gets passed for that. He gets passed for leaving and going to the Miami. He gets passed for that. He gets a pass for leaving a team and joining up and playing with 2 other All-Stars. And then he gets a pass again, which, some people say, like, oh, he just wasn't ready. People make excuses. Number one reason is coming up soon, and it's the main reason, okay? People in the media make excuses for him. He did not show up against the Dallas Mavericks. He got beat by a 1 All-Star team, Dirk Nowitzki. And he was defended by J.J. Barrera, Jason Terry, and Jason Kidd in that series on a consistent basis. They held him in one game to 8 points. Okay? He averaged, I think it was 18 points a game. I mean, that's not bad for a role for like the third wheel, but you should be averaging a lot more than that if you're, quote, the greatest player ever, according to some people's opinions. He lost in 5 games to the Spurs. He lost the 5 games to the Spurs. Last year was in Miami. He got spanked pretty bad. Okay, people don't hold that against him. Golden State Warriors. He was up 2-1 on the Golden State Warriors. Now everyone's gonna say he didn't have Kyrie, didn't have Kevin Love. First off, you were playing a team that only had 2 All-Stars, in Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Okay, you were playing a team with only 2 All-Stars. You should have been good enough to help them, to beat them. You were up 2-1. You were down 1-0, and that's when Kyrie Irving got injured in Game 1. So you're down 1-0. You won 2 straight. Okay, you were good enough to win 2 straight, but you couldn't win another 2. You couldn't force a Game 7, win 1 more. I mean, it's excuses. You were good enough to win 2 straight. Why couldn't you win 2 more? That's what I don't understand. I understand he was doing a lot of it by himself. I get that. I do get that. I understand that. But he was good enough to win 2 in a row, so why wasn't he good enough to win 2 more? That doesn't make sense to me. That you're going to praise him for winning 2, but then you're going to give him an excuse that, oh, well, he didn't have any help. Well, he didn't have enough help when he won those 2 games either, did he? Seriously. And then this year, it's excuse like, oh, well, this team's so good. This team's so good. This team is so good. I mean, you're LeBron James. You're supposed to be enough. He's like, oh, you have 4 All-Stars on one team and you only have 3 on another. LeBron James is supposed to be so good. He's like having 2 All-Stars. Come on, seriously. That's what it's supposed to be like. He's the greatest player ever, according to people. Okay, so he gets a lot of passes for his failures. Okay, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. That's number 2 reason why I don't like him. Number 1 reason, I'm getting to that right now. And the number 1 reason is LeBron James' fans. Okay? I could actually sit back and just enjoy watching LeBron James play basketball and not personally have an issue with him or not personally have a problem with him if it wasn't for his fans. His fans, this is what his fans do, and this is what has gotten me to the boiling point when it comes to his fans. Okay? His fans, over the course of the last 3 to 5 years, and you ever heard that adage that if you have to put someone else down to make yourself better, you're not better than them. You're not. Okay? And that's what they have done to anyone else who's compared to LeBron James. I heard this year, and they've been raping the career of Michael Jordan. People just discrediting thing after thing after thing of what Michael Jordan did. They are doing that this year. They are the worst fans possible. They're the worst people. They're one of the worst fans in sports, to be honest with you. Okay? I'll give an example. Okay, there's a video floating around. LeBron James at the age of 32 compared to Michael Jordan at the age of 32. And this video is very misleading. Here's why. By the age of 32, LeBron James has played 4 more seasons. 4 more seasons than Michael Jordan. So in 4 more seasons, they compare how many MVPs one has, MVPs the other one has. They compare. It's 4 less seasons. How about you compare the amount of time LeBron James has been in the league and what was accomplished in the same amount of time that Michael Jordan was in the league? How's that? But no, they intentionally put it out there like with the intent to mislead people and misrepresent facts to discredit Michael Jordan with stuff that's not factual. Okay? What's another one they do? Like this year in the playoffs, LeBron James actually passed Michael Jordan for the most points all time in the playoffs. Okay? Took him like 40 or 50 more games, but he finally passed Michael Jordan. Now, fun fact is that it took him 33 less shots to do it. Do a little research. You want to know why it took him 33 less shots? Because LeBron James took 525 more threes. Okay? If you take out a handful of Michael Jordan shots and add in 25 more threes, LeBron James still hasn't caught him in the same amount of games. Okay? So there's all these things that are intentionally put out there to discredit Michael Jordan and his accomplishments. But they're falsified. Okay? Nick Wright, or whatever his stupid freaking name is, Shannon Sharp, Colin Cowherd, a lot of them on Fox Sports 1, to be honest, just have done nothing all year except for discredit Michael Jordan. I'll give you an example. Shannon Sharp is like, LeBron James never lost in the first round of the playoffs. LeBron James also never faced 20, 50-win teams. Okay, he also didn't make it the first round of the playoffs because his 2 first years in the league. Michael Jordan did. And he also faced 2 teams that, one of them was the Milwaukee Bucks, who were a 2 seed. Another one was probably the greatest Boston Celtics team ever in the 87 Celtics. And he put up 43.5 points a game on the Boston Celtics. Oh yeah, he's totally not a great player. I mean, it's intentionally just misleading things to try to denigrate the career of Michael Jordan. It's under assault. I'm serious. It's under assault. Okay? Just to make LeBron James look better. Okay? If LeBron James was better, you wouldn't have to do that. The numbers would speak for themselves, and people wouldn't have to do that. Like, for example, people are like, well, LeBron James has more assists and rebounds. Okay? There's a reason for that. First off, he has more assists and rebounds because he's played 4 more seasons at this point in his career than Michael Jordan. That's the first thing. Second, look up the history of the triangle offense. Anyone who's ever played in the triangle doesn't have that many assists. It's an isolation offense. The Michael Jordan didn't have to rebound as much. Why? Because he always had Horace Grant, he always had Kukoc, he always had Pippen, and he always had Rodman. He had those players. Okay? For a reason. There's a reason why he didn't have those stats. It wasn't because he couldn't do it. Michael Jordan actually, he was put at point guard on his team for 11 games. In 11 games, he got 10 triple-doubles. So he could have easily averaged a triple-double. He just preferred the isolation game. And those are things that people leave out when they talk about this stuff. Okay? Those are things intentionally left out when you talk about these things. Okay? And it frustrates. And LeBron James fans do it intentionally. They do it intentionally to try to make LeBron James look better and falsify information. Just tell the truth. Nick Wright, I'll tell you an example. Nick Wright did this year. Nick Wright literally said that Kawhi Leonard was not as good defensively as we all think he is. What? The reigning defensive player of the year last 2 years is not the best defensive player of the year. Oh yeah, well when he goes off the court, his team's technically better on defense. You're dumb, Nick. Okay? You want to know why he's not better on defense? They're better on defense when he's not there. But first off, they have the best bench in the NBA. Okay? Which means they have the best defensive bench in the NBA. Second, when Kawhi Leonard's on the court, that means the other team's best scorers aren't on the court. So they're offensively not as good as when Kawhi Leonard's there. Okay? So you know this information. You falsified it. You falsified it. Okay? Seriously. LeBron James this year played with 2 All-Stars. He didn't have a top 5 record. He didn't. The top 4 records were in the West. Then you had Boston, and I think he was like a 6 or 7 seed. Seriously. It's intentionally trying to falsify information to make LeBron James look better. That's like this year. They're looking at him like, oh, LeBron James faced 4 All-Stars. Okay, well, LeBron James has 2 All-Stars on his team, and next year, and it's just circumstance. It just happened to be the one year it kind of fell perfectly. Next year, two of the Golden State Warriors will not be All-Stars. At least one of them won't. Either Klay Thompson or Draymond Green will be an All-Star. Both of them will not be All-Stars. I'll bet any kind of money anyone has on them. So now they're going to be down to 3 All-Stars. Okay? He adds people, and they make excuses. He doesn't have enough help. Kevin Love had 20-plus points in the first 3 games of this series. So what happened to that? Well, Kyrie Irving didn't. Okay, then you get Kyrie Irving to play better. Or LeBron James compensate for Kyrie Irving not playing better. You are the greatest player ever. You have to, if you're claiming yourself to be that, or you're proclaiming someone to be that, you have to be the guy that steps up and fills those voids. It's that simple. Michael Jordan, the last game he ever played with the Bulls, Scottie Pippen sprained his ankle and had back spasms. Game 6. Okay, he was up 3-2 in Salt Lake City, in Utah. Okay? So Michael Jordan said, I got to do this by myself. Give me the ball every possession. If they double team me, I'll kick it to you, make sure you hit it. But I got to do this by myself. And he'd isolated, and he won that game pretty much single-handedly. Okay, other people defended. I'm going to take that away from him. They did defend. But he defended, he scored, and he won that game single-handedly. I do not see LeBron James saying that to his teammates. I'm not saying, guys, isolate, let me face up, let me back down, whatever. Do not help. They finally did a little bit of it at the end of Game 5, but it was too little too late. Okay? And like I said, his fans are the worst. They make excuses. They'll avoid facts like, for example, the year LeBron lost to the Warriors in 6 games in the finals, he shot the worst three-point percentage by any superstar, anyone in the finals. His three-point percentage was 20-some%, and his shooting percentage of the field was 30. Okay, they don't bring that up. They'll bring up, oh, look at it, he averaged a triple-double. Okay, he averaged triple-double in a loss. Good for him. Okay, anyone can average triple-double in a loss if they really want to. How about you try to win? Apparently, that's not a recipe for success for LeBron James. Him averaging triple-double. So him getting 28 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists is not enough. Maybe he needs to be averaging 40 points a game, 10 rebounds, and then 12 or 15 assists. You change your game based on what your team needs. That's what great players do. Okay? Last part, as I'm going to throw this out there, is media and his fans are the worst. Okay? Media is part of it. That could probably make a number 16, say the media, because all they do is twist around things. The media is responsible for the assault and the raping of Michael Jordan's career, and it's really freaking frustrating. Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever, and he's the greatest player ever. And he wasn't proclaimed that during his career. It's after his career ended, and we were able to look back and reflect on how great he actually was. Okay? If the LeBron James fans just say, LeBron James is my favorite player, I like him, that's fine. If the LeBron James say, in my opinion, he's the GOAT, that's fine. That's your opinion. You know you're wrong, but that's your opinion. If they just said that, it'd be fine, but they don't say that. LeBron James is better because Michael Jordan had this, and this. Michael Jordan was never successful without Scottie Pippen. Well, that's false because he was. The first 2 years he had Scottie Pippen, he had 30-some points in the game. So apparently Scottie Pippen never had an impact on those games. Seriously. Don't want to get too much into that anymore. But I'm JD. This is my why don't I like LeBron James? It's not that I don't like the person of LeBron. He is a great person. He's a great ambassador for the game of basketball. He's a good person. He's a good role model for everyone. Okay? You should be. If you look up to anyone in the NBA, look up to LeBron James. He is a fantastic person. I will never take that away from him. Okay? No one should. No one should ever take that away from him. He's a fantastic person. But basketball-wise is what you analyze. Okay? And you can't sit there and say, you can't compare the impact of LeBron to Michael Jordan. Everyone wants to be like Michael Jordan whenever Michael Jordan left the game. No one wants to be like LeBron. Everyone wants to be like Steph Curry now. Seriously. And Michael Jordan, when he left the game, he left it in a better spot. The game was more globalized. Yeah, right now we have the social media era, but 30 million people are on social media. Okay? And over, I think 100 million people watch basketball every year. So, it's not really that big a deal. Twitter is just basically media, and then some idiots get on there and talk. But that's my video. Obviously, you're going to disagree with me. And you know what? I don't care, because this is my opinion. This is why I don't like him. Okay? If you like him, great. Make a video for why you like him. I don't care. Okay? What I've said is my opinion and how I see these things. Okay? You want me to break down Michael Jordan's career? I'll do that. If you want to make a video about each and every one of these points, I can do so. Because I make a video about how much he walks. In one game, I can make a video and have 15 highlights on that. Don't test me. I will. I can do that. It's not that hard. I got the game on my DVR right over here. I can easily transfer that file to my computer, and I can crop, cut, and show you every time the guy walked in one game. I have all of his games, the whole playoffs here, all the playoffs. But I can show you how much he walks. I can show you how much he complains to officials. I can show you how much he bully balls and how much he pushes off. I can show all those things. Those are documented. You want to know why? Because the tapes don't lie. Okay. For interest, if you don't know me, I actually played basketball. Okay, and I still play basketball. I play church league now. I played high school, a little bit of college. Okay, didn't really play college, but I was actually at a college and they had a lot of injuries, so they had an intramural contest, and you end up being able to practice with the team. So I did learn a lot from that. Okay, and then I coached high school basketball, and I helped a little bit in college as well. Okay, so that's my history when it comes to basketball, and I analyze the game. I look at the game from a player and a coaching standpoint. So I have both both views on it. So this is how I view the game. And as someone who had to teach, and I had to learn this when I was young, not to walk, how you got to put your pivot foot down, you don't shuffle your feet, so on and so forth. He compromises the game because of that. Okay. There's other things he does, and I'm not going to go into any more of a tangent because it's already been a long enough video. This segment alone is 12 minutes. But my name is JD. I hope you like this video. If you agree, great. If you disagree, good for you. Okay, we don't have to agree on everything. LeBron James is not the greatest player ever. He never will be. Okay. Fun fact: LeBron James is 18-27 in the finals. Michael Jordan's 24-11. In 8 years, playing 2 more finals appearances, LeBron James hasn't even touched what Michael Jordan did in 6 seasons. Okay. I could go on forever with stats that could discredit LeBron, but I'm not. I'm just telling you why I don't like him. See ya.